L24 Midnight News coming to you live from Algiers. And to the headlines. Algerian President Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune receives the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Tanzania. The two countries stressed the need to activate African solutions to continental problems. In Africa, still Mali and Burkina Faso considering a military intervention in Niger as a declaration of war in the region. And European countries started to evacuate their nationals from Niger's capital, Niamey. In China, at least 20 people dead and 27 missing in floods surrounding China's capital, Beijing, and thousands of people have been evacuated. And in Europe, Russia announces thwarting new Ukrainian attacks with drones on Moscow and the Black Sea, and Zelensky calls on the West for more weapons and long-range missiles. Hello again and welcome. Starting from the local matter, the Algerian President Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune supervised the meeting of the High Committee for Monitoring Customs Declarations and Commercial Operations. The meeting was attended by the Algerian Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman and the members of the Algerian government, as well as the heads and directors of the Algerian bodies in charge of monitoring commercial operations and customs transactions. Also, the Algerian President, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, welcomed the United Tanzanian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sister Jomina Lawrence-Chax. A statement from the Algerian presidency mentioned that the reception that took place at the presidential office was attended by Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ahmed Attaf, and the Director of Presidential Office, Nadir Al-Arbawi. Algerian Foreign Minister Mr. Ahmed Attaf praised the quality of the Algerian-Tanzanian relations in both political and diplomatic aspects. The Algerian Foreign Minister stressed the need to increase consultations and coordination to consolidate the existing strategic consensus in positions of Algeria and Tanzania on the necessity of activating authentic African solutions to African problems, no matter how difficult, sensitive and complex they may be, especially in the light of the growing changes that the continent is witnessing, such as the conflict in Niger.
Areas, but also during challenging
إن جودة العلاقات الجزائرية التنزانية.
The Algerian-Tanzanian relations is reflected in the congruence of the positions of the two countries towards the issues of our continent, and in their shared commitment to effectively participate in the realization of the objectives of the security, stability, development and integration in the African continent. There is no doubt that the rising challenges that our continent is facing, imposed by the expansion of the crisis area, which reached recently the sisterly Republic of Niger, which complicated the already fragile situation in the entire Sahara-Sahel region, requires more consultation and coordination in order to consolidate the current strategic alignments of positions of our two countries about the necessity of activating African solutions to the African problems, regardless of their sensitivity and complexity.
ومن حساسية ومن تعقيد.
Also, Algerian Foreign Minister Ahmed Attaf has commended Tanzania's commitment to supporting the struggle of the Sahrawi people for self-determination.
نواصل التنسيق.
Algeria and Tanzania continue to coordinate on the development record in Libya, Mali and Sudan, and on the prospect of putting an end to the suffering of the Sahrawi people in the last colony of Africa. I take this opportunity to commend the firm commitment of the Republic of Tanzania to support the struggle of the Sahrawi people for self-determination, in accordance with the resolutions of the United Nations and the African Union.
For her part, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Tanzania considered the meeting as a favorable opportunity to strengthen the ties of friendship, cooperation, and mutual understanding between the two countries.
The Joint Permanent Commission meetings serves As a platform for productive dialogue where matters of strategic importance, this session will undoubtedly afford us an opportunity to review the implementation of what was agreed during our fourth session and also identify new areas of cooperation and take our cooperation to higher heights. Since the establishment of our diplomatic relations between Tanzania and Algeria in 1961, that was shortly after Tanzania gained independence, we have fostered a strong partnership built on mutual respect, sense of solidarity, cooperation, and a shared vision.
A similar of thought to the work of the fifth session of the Algerian-Tanzanian Joint Committee culminated in the signing of several partnership agreements and memorandums of understanding in areas including energy, higher education and scientific research, trade and culture. These are areas about which the Algerian Foreign Minister Ahmed Attaf said that they are in line with the development plans and are compatible with the two countries' common approach towards strengthening African relations, revealing the creation of a joint committee to follow up on the actual implementation of commitments presented. On the second day of his official visit to Russian Federation, the Chief of Staff of the Algerian Army, Said Shengriha, was received at the headquarters of the Russian Ministry of Defense by Minister of Defense Sergei Shoigu. The delegations of the two countries held an extensive working session during which they discussed ways to support cooperation between the armies of the two countries and the prospects for enhancing it. Algeria warned of any intentions of foreign military intervention in Niger and its repercussions on the complexity of the current crisis. In a statement, the Algerian Foreign Ministry considered the intentions of foreign military interventions in the country as not excluded option, warning of its effect as factors that complicate and increase the seriousness of the current crisis.
Algeria calls for caution and restraint in the face of intentions of foreign military intervention, which unfortunately are not excluded options and can be resorted to. But they only represent factors that complicate and increase the seriousness of the current crisis.
Also, the Algerian Foreign Minister renewed Algeria's adherence to a return to the constitutional order and its support for Mohamed Bazoum as the legitimate president.
Algeria renews its deep adherence to the return to the constitutional order in Niger and respect for the requirements of the state of law. The Algerian government reaffirms its support for Mr. Mohamed Bazoum as the legitimate president of the Republic of Niger.
Mali and Burkina Faso transitional governments expressed their support for Niger coup leaders after ECOWAS has imposed sanctions and said it could recourse to force to reinstate the democratically elected president Mohamed Bazoum.
Following the coup in Niger and the detention of its president Mohamed Bazoum by rebel forces, the regional bloc of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, held an emergency meeting in Abuja on July 13th, where Western African leaders issued a one-week ultimatum to the rebel forces in Niger to cede power, warning they did not rule out the use of force and imposed immediate financial sanctions. Niger's neighbors Mali and Burkina Faso say any intervention to restore deposed President Mohamed Bazoum will be considered as a declaration of war against them.
Mali and Burkina Faso warned that any military intervention against Niger is tantamount to a declaration of war against Burkina Faso and Mali, warning that any military intervention against Niger would entail a withdrawal of Burkina Faso and Mali from ECOWAS, as well as the adoption of self-defense measures in support of the armed forces and the people of Niger.
In a move considered a tactical way to protect the recent regime change in Niger, The Malian and Burkinabe authorities accuse ECOWAS of wanting through military intervention to destabilize the entire region, citing the Libyan case as an example.
Mali and Burkina denounce the persistence of the regional organizations to apply sanctions that aggravate the suffering of the population and imperil the spirit of Pan-Africanism.
With the risk of conflict escalating, Western leaders have expressed serious concerns and have carried out evacuation operations for their nationals. The situation in Niger, however, remains subject to several unknown factors for the time being.
The Italian Foreign Minister on Tuesday said that Italy would arrange a special flight to repatriate nationals from Niamey's capital of Niger. Mr. Tajani also announced his country's embassy in Niamey remained open and the ambassador was returning to Niger from Rome.
Inaccettabili che ha provocato poi e continua a provocare tante morti nel.
Also, the Spanish government said they are preparing to evacuate more than 70 Spaniards in Niger by air. A foreign ministry spokesperson declined to provide further details about the operation. These evacuations come during a deepening crisis sparked by the military coup last week against Niger's elected president, Mohamed Bazoum. In Africa, still, the representative of the Libyan Presidential Council, in his capacity as the Supreme Commander of the Libyan Army, Abdullah Al-Lafi, met on Tuesday with the Chief of General Staff, Lieutenant General Mohammed Al-Haddad, accompanied by a Commander of the Border Guard, Major General Nouri Sharata, and the Director of Operations Department in the Libyan Army, Major General Abdel Fattah Al-Balouq. According to a statement by the Presidential Council, the two security officials examined in front of Al-Lafi the steps taken to secure the borders according to well-established strategic vision in light of the accelerating events taking place in Sudan and Niger. Al-Lafi stressed the necessity of securing the borders, continuing support for efforts made in this framework, and providing the logistical capabilities that quality the military unit to carry out their task. During the meeting, it was agreed to accelerate the formation of a joint force to protect Libya's southern borders. In a different topic now, or rather in a different continent, torrential rain in areas around China's capital, Beijing, killed at least 20 people and left 27 missing. Chinese President Xi Jinping demanded all-out search and rescue of the people missing or trapped in floods, in instruction on the work regarding floods prevention and disaster relief. Nabil Khazini.
Days of intense rainfall turned what was once calm districts in many places around the Chinese capital into ferocious torrents of water. At least a dozen of people have been killed due to the heavy rains, while 27 are reported missing. People are trying to contain the stream of water that seems more powerful. Full cities have become sunk in mud.
When the flood happened, I saw the yellowish, muddy water surging towards the street. I could tell it was a flood at the first glance, because it was running fast and carrying soil. I saw my wife running into a supermarket, and a minute later, the water was entering the market very quickly.
The floods spin this car down. Miraculously, a man arrives to rescue himself. However, this other man was trapped in the stream until help has arrived. Many like him in the affected areas are of a need of aid. Rescue teams are working 24 hours to provide assistance.
We learned that the village has a population of more than 3,000. And through our efforts this morning, more than 400 residents were evacuated to safe places. As the water level is receding, all the residents are safe for now.
Downpours have triggered landslides and floods that swept away cars and destroyed roads. Tianjin, which neighbors Beijing, upgraded its emergency response for floods to the highest level. All the city's rescue teams are standing by. The municipality said it had relocated more than 35,000 people from areas prone to flooding. A total of 52 flights have been cancelled at Beijing's airport due to the continuous rainfall. It is usual that seasonal flooding hits large parts of China every summer. However, some northern regions have reported this year the worst floods in 50 years.
Still with the natural disasters, 760,000 people in Japan are expected to be evacuated as Typhoon Khanun is approaching the Japanese island of Okinawa. Local media reported that Naha Airport in the southern part of the island has been closed while more than 900 flights have been cancelled. Japan's meteorological agency said on Tuesday that Typhoon Khanun was 220 kilometers southeast of Naha, the prefectural capital of the southern island. To a different matter, a Palestinian identified as Mohammed Suleiman Mazara was shot and killed in East Al-Quds. The Ministry of Health said it was informed by the Civil Affairs Authority of the death of Mazara by Zionist gunfire. Reports claimed he was shot after opening fire at settlers, injuring several people. In Palestine still, with the increasing impact of environmental waste on the earth, young Palestinian groups have decided to promote a waste-free lifestyle using environmentally safe products under the name of Zero Waste Palestine concept. Mohammed Khatou.
With the increasing impact of environmental waste on earth, a group of young Palestinians has decided to promote a waste-free lifestyle using environmentally safe products under the slogan Zero Waste Palestine concept. The operation, which was initiated by Najla Abdelatif, a 28-year-old Palestinian environmental activist, aims to motivate the society to reconsider its trash footprint and raise awareness about the repercussions of waste on environment among young Palestinians.
The main goal of the Zero Waste Palestine initiative and the summer school is to create and spread environmental awareness in our society, to promote a culture of reducing consumption, reducing waste, and being environment friendly.
In Suleiman farm, Palestinians from all over the country gather to help the participants adapt to the environmental friendly agriculture, as well as to learn the methods and techniques of farming and natural building.
The importance of Suleiman farm is that it practices environmental friendly agriculture, and it's also a place for Palestinians to gather from everywhere to learn farming methods, natural building and farming techniques, especially that we're in a land located in Area C, which is threatened to be confiscated, so our presence is also a way to preserve the land.
This advantage provides a guide in environmental conservation for trainees. Additionally, it offers lectures on how to produce organic material.
First of all, I follow Zero Waste on Instagram and I am a fan of Najla's Zero Waste lifestyle. She posted on Instagram that there is an opportunity for a summer school. I was very excited because I tried the experience of living in an organic farm and worked there as well. My understanding of the issue of organic farming and the environment increased, and I became interested even more. I found that summer school is giving me a greater opportunity to learn.
The first edition of the summer school was held for the first time in the city of Ramallah, with the hope to see it expand not only in Palestine, but all over the Arab world.
Clashes have continued in Ain al-Halwa refugee camp in southern Lebanon for a third day as efforts to reach a ceasefire continued to fail. At least 11 people have killed and 40 wounded, according to Palestinian sources, while hundreds of residents have fled the camp. Back to the African continent, and this is quite a breaking news. The Tunisian presidency has just announced on its official page that President Kais Saied has dismissed Prime Minister Najla Bouden and appointed Ahmed Al-Hanashi as her successor. Now, moving on to a different topic, Russia's defense ministry said it had thwarted attacks by Ukrainian sea drones on its navy and civilian ships in the Black Sea. And its daily briefing, the ministry said Navy ships had destroyed 3 more sea drones targeting civilian vessels. Kiev denied that it had attacked civilian ships without directly addressing the claim that it had attacked Russia's navy.
Сегодня ночью киевский режим осуществил попытку террористической атаки с применением.
During the night, the Kiev regime attempted a terrorist attack with 3 semi-submersible and manned boats on the Russian civilian transport vessels heading towards the Bosphorus Strait in the southern part of the Black Sea. The ships of the Russian Navy, which accompanied the sea transport, detected and destroyed all the boats in a timely manner. During the day, the armed forces of Ukraine continued to attempt offensive operations in the Donetsk, South Donetsk, Zaporizhia, Kupiansk, and Krasnoliman in the Donetsk direction. The coordinated action of the defending units includes cooperation with the aviation and artillery of the southern group of forces, successfully repelled 8 enemy attacks in the areas of settlements of Bilogorivka, Berestovi, Severny, Marinka, and Zaitsevi of the Donetsk People's Republic.
In a statement of thought, the Russian Defense Ministry said that Valery Gerasimov, chief of the General Staff of Russia's Armed Forces, has visited Russian troops in Zaporizhia. Gerasimov inspected a command center and highlighted the importance of primitive strikes against Ukrainian forces. The Kremlin said that BRICS enlargement is high on the agenda as more than 40 nations had expressed their interest in joining the bloc. The enlargement will be discussed in the summit of the group in South Africa in the end of the current month. Dmitry Peskov said that the issue of BRICS enlargement is high on the agenda, and the fact that such a debate is taking place testifies to the great potential of the association, the growing authority.
Indeed, the topics of BRICS expansion is high on the agenda, including the agenda of the upcoming summit. And this is a very important topic because we see that more and more countries are making statements about their intentions to join this group. Indeed, within the BRICS framework, there are certain nuances among members on the topic of enlargement, and all these nuances, of course, will be discussed during the upcoming summit. In general, this kind of interest in the BRICS group testifies to the great potential of the association, the growing authority, and most importantly, the applied significance of this association. We will determine the nuances during the summit, and the heads of state will voice their positions.
And up our news bulletin with sports. On Monday night, Uruguayan football player Edinson Cavani unveiled his new jersey to Boca Juniors fans at La Bombonera Stadium in Buenos Aires. Approximately 30,000 fans and supporters applauded the 36-year-old experienced striker unveiling as a new signing for one of the continent's most popular clubs, just hours after he left Spain's Valencia and landed in Argentina to join Boca on 18 months contract. Cavani entered the Bombonera in his football kit after a medical checkup and a press conference and received a standing ovation from the crowd, wearing the number 10 on his back that the Boca board had given him a few days previously.
Pues yo creo que tenía ganas también de volver cerca de casa.
There were many things that made me wish I go back. Why today? I wanted to return closer to home. And I think no country is more similar to ours than Argentina. I think there is no club like Boca Juniors to follow what could be the last steps of my career. I'm going to prepare myself to give everything 100%, to always be at my best. and to be able to go a long way with this shirt. I hope to provide a lot of joy to these people who welcomed me today with a smile, a hug, and even kisses.
Y lo que estoy seguro que voy a hacer es entrenarme y prepararme cada día.
And with this, we reach the end of our news bulletin. Thank you ever so much for taking part with us in this late hour. For more updates, you can follow our social media platform. And all I can say at the end, take care of yourself. Good night.